Hello everybody, welcome to Paramecia, a One Piece fan cast where we review the latest chapter of One Piece and have a different One Piece related discussion every single week. My name is John.
My name is Franz.
And yeah, this is the first week we've had since we started that there's been a break. So yeah, instead of having like a normal chapter review, we're just gonna go kind of long form discussion into the upcoming Reverie Arc. What the Reverie is, what we think might happen, characters that are going to be involved, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, like, covering this isn't necessarily so much a mess, because a lot of it is, like, speculation and everything. It's just the actual event itself is most likely going to be a huge fucking mess.
Yeah, and it's so important to the story, like, at large.
Oh my god.
That, oh man, it's just, it is, God, just thinking about it, it's gonna be like such a cool arc, but it's also gonna be so like I feel like it's gonna go downhill very fast.
Man, like, so you know how it was always the meme that in like Bleach, Kubo like doesn't fucking remember his own characters, and everyone wanted like Nell, I think it was her name, to like come back and shit. Whereas like Kishimoto's always like, hey, you remember this guy? He's back. Cool.
Yeah.
And like,
he's back.
This
in
is
form.
yeah, dude.
Do you remember the snake girl? She's back, but fat now.
Tsuchinoko real? What?
Yeah.
So this is basically Oda just unleashing his cuffs and say, hey, do you remember everyone? Oh my god.
Hey fuckers, do you remember everyone I've ever fucking written?
I don't know about you, but looking at Audacity right now, whatever I just recorded is going to sound awful.
Monstrous.
So that's going to be fun editing that.
It's going to be great. If anything, just make that section like pump up the jams only for that section, and then everything else is normal.
We're trying to get people to listen to this and not go deaf. So let's get into the discussion, and let's first talk about what is Reverie. I've never read this. I can't read. What is Reverie?
Yeah, alright. So Reverie is like a meeting of the world nobles. So it's basically, it's held every 4 years in Marijoa, and it's the kings and queens of a whole bunch of different kingdoms, like in
50 or something.
Yeah, I think the number was like 50 or something. It's a meeting of all the world leaders, and they come together and they discuss just like world events, like things that are happening. I guess for context, to help explain what's kind of talked about there from what we know of right now in the story. At the last Reverie, we got a flashback to it, and they showed everybody there talking about Dragon and how I forget the guy's name. Oh shit, hold on.
Lucas is his last name?
Yeah, Thalassa Lucas or whatever. He was the guy from some kingdom, from the Elusia kingdom or Lucia.
Yeah,
kingdom?
there you go.
Yeah, basically he was the one that predicted 8 years ago that he was the one that held up a picture of Dragon at the Reverie, and he said something along the lines of like, this man is going to be a threat to the world government. Like, you know, like he may not be anything right now, but in due time, like his actions will become a threat to the world government. And yeah, he's the most notorious man in the world now. So
he called it.
Yeah. but the first chapter of the Reverie Arc is just gonna be this guy fucking called it.
So other participants this time, well,
yeah, because it happens every 4 years. So now we're finally, we as the audience are finally gonna sit in on a Reverie, because now one's happening. Like, well, it lined up in real time with the story that one is happening.
So Thalassa Lucas is Thalassa, Thelonious Monk,
Yeah,
is making a comeback like you said, probably gonna say like, "Oh, I called that shit," etc., etc. Other notable participants are there?
I guess, do you want to just go through these like one by one, I guess?
Yeah, sure,
Like real
sure.
fast.
So Dalton from the Sakura Kingdom, where Chopper came from.
Yeah.
Elizabella II from Doesn't Matter Kingdom. A partner kingdom of Dressrosa showed up in the Dressrosa arc. One Punch Man. Loved him.
The Providence Kingdom, yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
I love One
there we
Punch
go.
Man, yeah.
Nefertiti. No, okay, no. I legit read it as that.
Nefertiti Cobra. Yeah, Nefeltari Cobra.
Wow.
Yeah, Cobra from the Alabasta Kingdom. He's bringing Vivi along and some of the other guys from Alabasta.
Man, reading that chapter and seeing Vivi back was...
Oh man, yeah.
Oh my god. Dopamine straight into my spine.
I remember freaking out with you when the first chapter that they showed Vivi, because they showed Vivi at the very end of the chapter. Like,
yes.
They showed people talking, and then at the very end, we finally got like a picture of Vivi. Like, it was her voice, and we're like, "Oh shit!"
Man, speaking of people that were hyped to see come back, we've got Neptune, motherfucking Neptune, king of the ocean, but specifically the Ryukyu Kingdom.
Yeah,
Ryukyu Kingdom, and he is taking Shirahoshi with him.
Yeah, he's bringing all of his children.
Everyone? Yeah, like, everyone's like, hey, let's not do that.
Well,
as an audience,
we're... as an audience, we're like, oh, shit. Like, because, we know what's going on. In the chapter, I fuck, it's somewhere here. The scene where they're talking, Neptune is talking to his kids. And Shirahoshi initially doesn't want to go because she's scared. She says, "Oh, like Luffy promised me that he'd come back and take me to the surface, like take me to a forest on the surface, like so I could see it." And they're all kind of like, "Well, like we know you're afraid, Shirahoshi, but this was Mother's dream. Like we finally got all the signatures on Mother's thing. Like if you don't go, it'll basically appear like we have to do this for our people, basically. Like if we don't go, we'll appear like we haven't changed at all. Like we still hate humans." Or so yeah. She's going along in good faith and good spirits, but she's also, as we know, one of the ancient weapons.
So that's gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Next up in the list is King Riku from Kingdom Hearts.
Back like we never left, dude. Yeah, the whole Dressrosa gang is coming back.
God, that's gonna be really fun to witness too, because they've so many people have beef with the world government, and all those people are going straight to the world government.
Yeah. So hold on to that thought, because I'm gonna bang the rest of this bottom row out, and then we'll talk about that, because I really want to get into that.
Hit that bottom row. So
Stelly is next, and Stelly, you might remember his stupid looking face from the from the Ace, Luffy, and oh my god,
Sabo.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I was like, oh my god, that was the that was me, like, legitimately not remembering Sabo's name.
So I'm accepting I'm accepting people now for a co-host.
Yeah.
As if I'm one to talk.
Ace, Luffy, and Sabo, their flashback. Stelly was Sabo's brother, like his royal.
That's right.
Yeah, like Sabo came from a royal family. Like he was like royalty, and then everybody thought he died. So then Dragon found him and like trained him basically to be a revolutionary. But Stelly was his brother, and he has a stupid face, and it makes me mad. But we don't get to see his face because In the chapter where they show who's attending Reverie, we don't get to see Stelly's face like after he's grown up, because I already know that they're saving that for like a really good gag. Like, it's
either gonna be the dumbest face, or he's like a sweet person now with a normal face.
Yeah.
Man, you mentioned something that I'm gonna hold on to that thought.
Okay. Yeah, Stelly is coming. He's coming with his wife. I forget his wife's name, but
yeah,
whatever. It's Stelly. Wapol
Smelly.
from the drum. Yeah, Smelly. Wapol from the Drum Kingdom is coming, and that's gonna be cool to see because he has history with Dalton, and history with Vivi Nefeltari, because during the Drum Kingdom arc, they him and Vivi like went back and forth. Like there's a couple moments where like they were going back and forth with each other as like royalty.
It's gonna be a fucking mess, man.
Yeah. The last two we already mentioned. Lucas, the guy who predicted dragons like rise to glory. But the last two on this list are ones that I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah.
The first one is the Vinsmoke family, and we know from Reiju, I think, told us at the beginning of Whole Cake Island when we first met Reiju and Yonji. She told the Straw Hats that the Germa Kingdom, like, even though they don't have a plot of like traditional land to call their own, like they have all of their ships and they always travel together, so they still, in the world government's eyes, they still count as a kingdom. And because they still count as a kingdom, like with their ships like at sea, they're allowed to attend Reverie. So I we can expect Judge and maybe some of the children, like maybe Reiju, because she's the oldest, or like Ichiji or something.
There's something to talk about with them specifically as to why maybe they might not be going. But I just want to make the metaphor that them counting as a kingdom with ships out is like when you're playing Civ and you have the option on where like you have to eliminate every little unit and someone's like in the middle of a fucking ocean. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Dude, basically. Yeah, that's actually a perfect analogy for them.
And last on the list.
And the last one, yeah, we don't know. We don't know the name of who. We don't know the name of the person who's going, but we know someone from the Kano Kingdom is coming, and that is that's Sai and Donchin Zhao. That's the kingdom where they come from, and that's pretty notable because Sai and Donchin Zhao say, during Dressrosa, they tell, during Dressrosa, when they're talking, we learn that Kano Kingdom is like the neighbor to Wano country. Like it's the neighbor to Wano Kingdom.
Yeah.
So they're like in the immediate vicinity of Wano, which is cool because I hope that means that Sai and Baby 5 come to Wano to help out, because that would be the sickest shit, because I need more Baby 5.
For fucking real, man. So let's talk about who he might be really quick. So Sai's whole situation is that he released Gangnam Style and it was a fucking banger. But Sai's whole deal is that he needed to get married in order to like take over his family and whatnot, but like because of the whole like mostly Baby 5 thing, and like as we've seen in the cover stories, he was already engaged. That was a whole mess. So maybe we can assume that because of that, he might not be going to Reverie. Who is going to Reverie in his place? That might be his dad or something.
Oh, maybe that could be.
Because like Sai's related to Qin Zhao, right? Like I'm not nuts, right?
I actually don't think so.
Yeah, no, because it's Don Qin Zhao, Don Sai.
Okay, yeah, then he is related, I guess.
So this is Don some fuck.
Let's see. Family. Oh, okay. Don Qin Zhao is Sai's grandpa.
Yeah, okay. So my reasoning is somewhat sound.
Yeah,
In that,
yeah, that could be his father.
and what a fucking look this man has.
Yeah. This man is aesthetic as fuck. Like
Fu Manchu, the tiny ass glasses. He fucking like makes acid house on a fucking like MIDI fighter.
basically, that's the vibe I'm getting from this man. But yeah, he's yeah. I mean, that's a safe assumption, at least for right now. Like that he's Sai's father.
Don Papa.
Yeah, Don Poppy. Yeah, so that's basically the complete list of everybody that's going. Well, everybody that's like everybody that has a seat. Companions that are tagging along with these people are most of the characters that we know. Like Vivi's going obviously with Vivi's attending with Cobra. Kureha's attending with Dalton. Like I said, all of Neptune's children, Shirahoshi and the three brothers are attending. What's it? Viola and Rebecca are attending with Riku
and Sora.
Yes. For a second, I thought she meant Sanji's mom, and I was like, "Dude, she's dead." Like, what are you talking about? And then I caught on to the Kingdom Hearts reference, and I was like, "Okay."
Thank you.
But there's gonna be a whole bunch of players in this referee. Yeah.
Besides the ones that we've mentioned so far, these are the ones that like showed up when we were introduced to the concept of Reverie. According to the Zoe arc, there are over 50 countries and royal families attending this year.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So, and that is from chapter 823. And considering that, we might see a lot of new people that are just gonna like, I mean, who knows? They're like it's just a fucking wild card.
Yeah.
Because we know 10 of them. And then there's 40 fucking wild cards out there. This is they're either gonna be irrelevant or this is gonna be fucking horse hockey. It's gonna be kangaroo court.
Yeah. It's either all irrelevant or like these new people are gonna be like become big players out of nowhere. Yeah, God, it's gonna be crazy. And another thing we should bring up, I guess, is so this is in Marijoa, like it's a meeting formed by the world government. So we know that the Navy's gonna be there, like, you know. So Akainu is probably gonna be there, but even beyond Akainu, we know for a fact that, oh my God, what's his name?
Sengoku? Garp?
Garp might be there, but the gravity guy from Dressrosa. God, I am fucking up.
Fujitora,
yes. Fujitora is confirmed going because he wants... Well, he said he wants to abolish the Shishibukai system, and I'm pretty sure if there's no better place to bring up abolishing this system than at Reverie, where like half of the kingdoms have been affected by the Shishibukai system negatively.
Yo, and when that happens, we get the best characters added to the Grand Fleet.
Yup. It's gonna be wild to see him there. And also, we might get to see the third Navy Admiral now. The new one.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Sengoku stepped down, Akainu took his place.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only one that's left is Kizaru. Kizaru is the only one left because Akainu moved up to Sengoku's position, and then Iceman, Frozone apparently joined the
Aokiji.
Aokiji. Apparently he's part of the Blackbeard Pirates now.
That's a lie.
Like, yeah, what a wild fucking jump. If like, all right, like, man, I love standing up for all this justice and shit. Let me just join the Blackbeard Pirates. Like,
talk about a fucking heel turn.
Yeah. But yeah, when he left that, so it's Kizaru, Fujitora, and there's a third spot. And they've only mentioned the third admiral by name, and they've shown like a silhouette that we think is the next admiral, but it's Green Bull is the code name, I guess. That.
Okay, I was about to ask, like, what color do you think he is?
Yeah, it's the name is confirmed Green Bull, and then, God, there's a couple of theories because all of the Navy admirals are based off of famous Japanese actors.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All of them. And the silhouette they showed of Green Bull, and I forget which chapter it was, but we've gotten a description of Green Bull before, and it was something along the lines of like, she hates samurai, or, well, okay, Green Bull hates samurai, but some people have looked into it, and there's a theory of like, based on the hairstyle from like the shadow that he showed, like the silhouette, there's some Japanese movie about this it's this like samurai killer, and she like, it's this girl who like hates samurai. Like some samurai like wronged her in the past, so she's like, the whole movie is her on a mission to just kill as many samurai as she can.
Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Everybody's like, dude, like the next admiral, like everybody's thinking based on all that information that like, it's a safe bet that Green Bull's probably like a woman. Like,
and probably going to be involved in Wano.
Yeah, and she probably hates samurai. Well, we've gotten the description that she hates samurai, so it's safe to assume that she'll be involved, like, she'll play a major role in Wano. Yeah, another Navy person that we don't know if they're attending Reverie. Like, we haven't gotten any word, but it's been a while, and I hope we kind of see them. Just because their involvement would help Fujitora's case with
Smoker
abolishing the Shishibukai. Yeah, Smoker, because of the Shishibukai system, Doflamingo was allowed to do what he did, and because he was allowed to do what he did, the children were experimented on. Like, he was able to employ Caesar, who experimented on these children. So and Smoker and Fujitora, I don't know if we haven't seen if they've ever met in person. It's safe to assume they might have at some point, but we know that after Dressrosa, when Smoker's reading the paper, that him and Fujitora kind of, they're kindred spirits. Like they're pretty on board with the same ideas. Because Fujitora had the same kind of run-in that Smoker had after Alabasta, where the Straw Hats were the ones who took out the big bad on the island. Like they took out the Shishibukai. And then the world government and the Navy basically told Fujitora and Smoker, respectively, like, yeah, you guys are going to take the credit. Like, in the world's eyes, you're the ones who took out Crocodile and Doflamingo. And both of them, like, rejected that notion because they were like, no, like, that wasn't us. Like, why do we have to lie? That was the Straw Hats. Like, it's obvious to everybody that it was them, but the world government, can't have pirates being good guys. So yeah, they share a lot of ideas, and I feel ideals, and I feel like Smoker and Toshigi attending Reverie would be like, cherry on top with Fujitora's whole Shishibukai abolishment plan.
Fuck, I don't know. I was gonna ask like what power green would be, but like that's for another like episode.
Yeah, that could be fucking anything. I have no idea. Some people are thinking like, I don't know. I've seen some like good stuff. Like I've seen like vines or like some kind of nature power, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I've seen some other out there ones like, oh, she has nuclear power, and that's when I checked out. So
man, why not something normal like wind or something?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nuclear power, get the fuck out of here.
Shit's wild, dude.
So we've talked about the participants and like a couple of the people that might like show up, not so much as like wild cards or anything, but to put in their 2 cents. Let's talk about what might be covered specifically by like each different party, because like, you know, the fishmen are going and their whole thing is like, hey, several years ago you asked us to like collect these signatures because apparently petitions work in this universe. Here we are, all these signatures are here. We're gonna float Fishman Island all the way fucking up.
Yeah. Because Otohime wanted the signatures too. I forget what was to make Fishman Island like a recognized like play. Yeah, it was to move it up to the surface, right? To make it basically like another island, I believe.
Yeah, my understanding for her reasoning behind that was that she wanted to ease relationships between fishermen and humans on both sides, and she feels like getting Fisherman Island to the surface is probably the first step, just pure accessibility for both parties.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was to relocate the Ryugu Kingdom. That's what it was for. Cuz she went to Mary Joa and she returned with an official letter from a world noble that was like, "Yeah, you guys can like as long as you have the consent of everybody, you can relocate Ryugu Kingdom to make it like accessible by everybody."
Which is like honestly weird to me because like why do they need the world government? Like why they're not their fucking dad or anything. Like it's their kingdom. Move it if you fucking want, but I mean
Yeah.
the world government's not like under that ideology, so yeah. We mentioned earlier that Thalassa Lucas is most likely gonna come in and just be like, "I told you so, bitch."
Yeah.
So that's him out of the way because like it's not like we know much else about him.
Yeah. We don't even know the king of his kingdom cuz he's like or no, he is the king of Elusia Kingdom.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Well then yeah, we don't know much about his kingdom, but he's going to come in whip his dick out on the table and be like, "Yep, told you so." Like fuck you guys. Should have listened to me. Yeah, so
That's about it for him.
yeah, that's it for him. We talked about the fishmen. They're gonna talk about the signatures and relocating Ryugu Kingdom.
Let's talk about Alabasta Kingdom with
Cobra.
Nefeltari. There we go.
Yeah.
With Nefeltari and everything, because what he wants to do was probably the biggest surprise of beyond being introduced to Reverie and the fact that this is a fucking thing. Like what he says he wants to do is the actual shock of that chapter.
Yeah, what he says he wants to do is confront the world government about basically confront them about the poneglyphs and the void century pretty much, and like what the hell Alabasta's like involvement is with all of that, because again like he's bringing it up because he's bringing it up again, this all kind of stems back to the Shishibukai system. Like the Shishibukai system allowed Crocodile to take over Alabasta, and we knew he took over Alabasta looking for a poneglyph. So it's like the world government definitely knows about the poneglyphs, and he wants to get to the bottom of why they know about the poneglyphs, why they allowed like all of this to go on for so long, and like what the hell his kingdom has to do with it, because like we don't know if Alabasta could. I mean, it's safe to assume they won't be targeted again, but in his eyes, like in his situation, he has no idea. Like, this happened once with a Shishibukai. Like, what if some random like pirate just comes in looking for it again? Like, what we need to know what it is. Like,
it's for the safety of his people.
Yeah. So he's confirmed going to. I mean, if he doesn't fucking die on the way there, because we know he's like sick. But
oh yeah,
he's like coughing up a storm in a wheelchair.
Me too.
Yeah. No, but yeah, we know he's definitely for sure gonna bring up the poneglyphs and what the hell, like what did the Nefeltari clan do to the world government, or like what did they do in the past, basically, that allowed like all of this to transpire. That's gonna be really cool to see, because like I don't know. We haven't seen Cobra in such a long time, and for him to appear again and then drop a bombshell like this is gonna be ridiculous.
Besides that, this might be like the first in a long, long line of things that might actually lead to us knowing about the Void Century.
Yeah. This arc is literally like the world building info dump that we've all been craving. Like
Oda's taken all of his fiber, and we're gonna get that dump.
Basically. Who else? Who else has important shit to talk about?
So we can make an assumption that Walpole's just gonna be like mad and angry the entire time, but there's gonna be beef with him and Dalton and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
King Riku's also going, which probably ties into the whole like, oh, like we gotta ban the Shichibukai, etc. Because it's him and Nefeltari that have seen this fucked up shit and everything. So they might be the ones to just bring it up as opposed to like Fujitora or Smoker or something. Elisabello is probably gonna back King Riku because they're like allies and everything.
Yeah, Elisabella was also like forced to be a gladiator. Like
yeah, so there was that shit. But I don't think Elisabello himself is gonna like really mention anything.
Yeah.
The thick of it is basically just between the poor fishermen just wanting to do their own shit, Nefeltari Cobra wanting to like know what's up, and King Riku wanting some goddamn change.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the three like biggest players, I'd say. The other ones are gonna bring up some interesting stuff. Like, we don't know anything about Stelly. Like, all we know is that he's Sabo's brother, but like
he's a total wild card.
Yeah, he's a wild card. The same thing with Sai's father, or presumed father. We have no idea where the Kano Kingdom stands in all of this.
Yeah, Don Papa might be used as like a device to transition into the Wano thing, but as it stands, we have no fucking idea.
Yeah. So we know we know basically what each character might bring up, and the Vinsmokes, if they're there, I don't think they'll really bring up anything. Like, they might bring up like something about the Yonko, but you know, nothing really. Like, they're pretty much doing their own thing. But the main issue that I think is also going to get brought up. So 8 years ago, they brought up Dragon and how much of a threat he is. It's like, it would be stupid if they didn't talk about Luffy, seeing as every single person that we know that's going has interactions with Luffy.
At the very slightest, yeah.
Yeah, Vivi, Shirahoshi, Viola, freaking, Rebecca, like, Kureha, like, all of these people know Luffy and they know who he is. So he's gonna get brought up, and it's gonna be one of those things where a lot of the I feel like before it starts, like, Fujitora might pull some of Fujitora might at least pull Riku aside and be like, listen, like, I know, like, we all, like, you and me know that Straw Hat Luffy is like a good person, like, he saved your kingdom, but like, for the sake of this meeting, you have to play it down, like, you have to be like, yeah, he's a dirty pirate, like, there's none of this, he's a good person. Because,
man, I don't know, I feel like Cobra's not gonna have that shit.
Well, yeah, definitely, and that might be the
For all we know, Stelly might not have that shit.
Yeah, that might be the Cobra's definitely the catalyst, if there's any, to let King Riku like really speak his mind. Because I mean, even at the end of Dressrosa, King Riku told all the people that like they had to protect Luffy. So all the people were like screaming like, "Oh, like, get out of here, Straw Hat!" And then Fujitora with his like super hearing like heard the people whispering, and they're like, "Oh, like, but Straw Hat Luffy saved us." And he's like, yeah, but the government's mean, so we gotta lie to him. Like, this guy won't tell the difference. So, the King Riku had the people save Luffy and get him out of Fujitora's hands. And I mean, it's neither here or there, but I don't even think Fujitora would have really taken in Luffy after everything that happened. I feel like Fujitora was more pissed that Fujitora was more thankful that Luffy took out Doflamingo than anybody, probably.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
But yeah, I definitely can see that. I see Cobra bringing this up because he's not having it. Like, his life was fucking altered forever, basically, because of crocodiles, because of the world government's, like,
negligence.
Yeah, because of their negligence. And I feel like if he brings that up, Riku would probably defend him and be like, yeah, like, because of his negligence, like, or because of you guys' negligence, Doflamingo was allowed, full reign. Like, he was allowed to do whatever he wanted. He ruled the world, and, like, he took over my kingdom and fucked up everybody. Like, it'd be crazy to me that Luffy is not brought up in some capacity.
Yeah, no, it has to be. So, let's take this and let's start talking about some of the more, like, wild card options, because this is really where I have a lot to talk about. Like, we're 40 minutes into, like, recording right now, but I feel like this is where, like, the juice is,
Yeah, no problem. Let's just jump right into it. Yeah, go ahead.
The Vinsmokes. So they're entitled to go to Reverie and everything because they're still technically a kingdom. They're the one little unit in the middle of the ocean that nobody can find. But Judge mentioned in some chapter before everything went down that, like, oh, he feels like they're not going to be allowed at Reverie because of what they're about to do, namely marrying Sanji to Pudding and forming a coalition with a Yonko, and that would prevent them from participating in Reverie. Now that that's fallen through, they might still have a chance of getting to Reverie before or even after the news breaks out. It might be a little weird. There might be some shit because the world government might know that Sanji is in Luffy's crew, and, like, they might be like, oh, hey, like, that's your fucking son, like, with the about to be Pirate King, like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's a little bit of a wild card situation, but we have to wait till this arc ends till we can really tell, like, if they're even going to participate.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We have to see how the end of Whole Cake Island plays out, and then we'll be able to really tell if they're gonna be there or not. There's another thing I wanted to talk about. So we know that the fishmen are going, and we know that they're bringing Shirahoshi, who is one of the 3 ancient weapons. So they're bringing one of the 3 ancient weapons to Marijoa, to the world government's, like, doorstep. If you remember, and also Stelly is involved in this too because he's Sabo's brother. So those two are going to be
I've got some shit about that too.
Yeah, so if you remember after Dressrosa, like during Zoe, we got the confirmation. We got the shot of Jesus Burgess, that piece of shit. We saw him on the revolutionaries' ship, like he snuck aboard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He sent the coordinates to Blackbeard, and then Blackbeard and the revolutionaries, like, quote unquote duked it out. Like, they fought on the island and the island was destroyed. But if you remember, it cut away from Jesus Burgess giving away the things, and it cut to Dragon, and Dragon was calling all of the revolutionary leaders to his island, but we didn't get a reason as to why. And I feel like this is like my crack theory for this. I feel like he was pulling them together, not to, like, Blackbeard was not part of this equation. I feel like he was pulling them together because he knows that Shirahoshi's a weapon, and that he's probably going there to take Shirahoshi. Like, that's probably what he was gearing up, getting all of the revolutionaries in one place for. Because he's like, we gotta crash into Marijoa and make sure Shirahoshi's safe, which is, like, crazy. But also, that lends ideas to, like, if they break in, Stelly and Sabo are definitely gonna have some sort of altercation.
See, I have a little more on the whole, like, Sabo thing, because, like, so Stelly is Sabo's younger brother, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm, like, 98% sure, yeah.
Yeah, and Stelly is also adopted, if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, not necessarily being a true heir Sabo regained his memories 2 years prior to the events going on right now, not 4 years or more, which would have landed him at the previous Reverie. But this Reverie, he has his memories. Technically, like, he has claim to Goa Kingdom, and he can probably contest that claim really fucking hard. And he can just walk in with Dragon and everyone. Like, on the flip side, it might not be about Shirahoshi. It just might be about the revolutionaries fucking stepping foot on Reverie. And, like, doing so by Reverie's rules.
Damn, yeah. Like, that's... Goddamn. That's... I never thought about that. That's... Dude. that's definitely plausible, dude.
Because, like... I mean, it'd be cool if they, like, made this whole, like, grand entrance or whatever, but, they might not, like, they'll have to sneak in, that's for sure, because they're not gonna, like, let them, like, just fucking walk in, because it's the revolutionary, he's just Dragon. But if they were to sneak in, and Sabo's just like, hey, like, I'm alive and I'm the rightful heir to the Goa Kingdom.
Yeah.
That would blow everyone's fucking bean. Like, and Stelly's there. He can be like, holy shit, that's my brother. My kind of piece of shit brother that disappeared at the age of 10.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the sickest shit. Cause, like, man, the world government would not take that sitting down.
No, yeah, they definitely would not.
But, like, man, what the timing would be, like, fucking wild. Because, like, what if that happened, like, immediately after there were questions about the Void Century and stuff like that?
Yeah, that would be... See, Reverie is going to be so good because of the interactions with all these characters.
Because, like, there's so much that can fucking happen. And we know... nothing.
Yeah, we have absolutely no idea. I'm trying to look for... God, do you remember the name of Caribou? Never mind, yes.
Who?
Caribou. This is, I'm pretty sure... Hold on.
Oh!
I'm pretty sure Caribou, the goop
Yeah.
guy from Fishman Island. So he knows that Shirahoshi is a weapon because he overheard Robin and Neptune talking about it. So, I'm trying to see, because I remember him and Drake fought, X-Drake.
Yeah.
And it was in their cover story where they fought, and I don't remember if X-Drake captured him, or if something happened, but, okay, yeah, no, so X-Drake beat Caribou, and he's dragging him away, like, in the cover story that they're in.
Oh, shit.
So not only does Dragon possibly know that Shirahoshi's a secret weapon, like, it's safe to assume because he knows everything about, like, he knows what happened in the Void Century, presumably, but X-Drake captured Caribou, who knew that information, and we know that X-Drake is working for Kaido, so I think at some point, I think the ending of the Reverie Arc and what's going to transition us straight into Wano is, I think Kaido or some of his coordinates, but I think it's more likely Kaido. Kaido might break in and try to steal Shirahoshi. And because Kaido said at the end of, or at the start of one of these arcs, he said, like, oh, he's gonna start, like, he was gonna start the greatest war anybody's ever seen. And at first I was kind of like, what? Like, is he, like, what the hell is he talking about? But that line from his makes sense if you're under the presumption that, like, oh, he attains an ancient weapon. Like, if Kaido attains an ancient weapon, then that line, to me at least, immediately makes sense, because it's like, all right, I have an ancient weapon, like, who's gonna stop me? Like
Christ, man.
Yeah. And I think that like I said, I think that might be the catalyst to shoot us straight into Wano with the Straw Hats and everybody.
Yeah, that would bring a lot of parties to Wano too, not just them. Like, we'll see the Dawn Clan again. We'll see.
Oh, Yeah, for sure.
Like you've mentioned, we'll see Green Bull and military people there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We'll see a bunch of fucking people, but like, my god.
Yeah. Also, shit, another thing I just thought about. Like, because I'm thinking about, like, Wano Country is technically, like, wouldn't they be allowed into Reverie? Because Kaido's not the ruler of Wano Country, it's the Shogun. And the Shogun should be allowed into Reverie.
So, Momonosuke would have the right, but in being overthrown, like, considering that Dalton's there and Dalton's not necessarily the rightful ruler, it would be safe to say that the Shogun would be there. And isn't the Shogun, like, the one that's in power thanks to Kaido?
Yeah, yeah. He usurped the throne with Kaido's help, because Kaido boiled Momonosuke's father to death and made like an udon pun or something.
Oh yeah, Jesus fuck. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Little dark joke from Oda. Yeah, no, it's I mean, we have no confirmation that the Shogun is coming, but it could possibly be that that's the first time we see the Shogun. And again, like, because Oda has said before that, like, we're getting Reverie first before Wano, it leads me to believe that they're going to seamlessly lead into each other. Like, we're gonna get Reverie, and then some course of events is gonna take place that's gonna throw us straight into Wano. Like, no break in between.
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird. I can definitely see. So everybody, there's people online. There's like murmurs of, will Luffy be at Reverie? There's some people talking about this. Like, some people are saying, oh, he could use one of Brulee's mirrors to get there, or like he could go with the Vinsmokes to Reverie.
He couldn't use Broly's.
Broly.
He couldn't use
Oh,
Broly's maximum power.
Yeah.
Couldn't use Brulee's mirrors because the mirrors are only like affected by those in Totland.
Yeah.
So there's that out the window. What was the other thing?
That's out the window. The other thing was that the he could attend with the Vinsmokes, but I think that's out of the window too, because I mean, they're basically friends now. But Sanji himself told Judge, like stay away from me. Like, I to you I am dead. Like, you don't ever talk to me again. And I don't think that would happen. And Luffy would be like, well, one, superseding all of this, I don't see Luffy needing to be at Reverie.
I don't see Luffy knowing what Reverie is.
Yeah, or caring, for that matter. I feel like Luffy not being at Reverie is actually
the best.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best, because whatever happens at Reverie that leads us into Wano has direct effects to Luffy, like, once they get there. Because it's like, alright, like, I can totally see it happening where Reverie's an entire arc where Luffy's just not in it at all. And we get all these revelations, and if it ends with Shirahoshi somehow being captured by Kaido or one of the parties, I can totally see, it wouldn't be a long time skip, but I can totally see a time skip of like a couple of weeks, like just cutting directly to, like, starting Wano with cutting to Luffy and the crew just getting to Wano, and then like hearing the news that like Shirahoshi's been captured or something.
Yeah, it would be like a week or so. Like, when this arc ends, it'd be really good for us to like sit back and like think up of a timeline in which like things are happening, because like their whole escapade in Totland is happening at the same time probably as like Zoro, Frankie, and I don't remember who. Zoro, Frankie, Robin, and someone else.
The whole Dressrosa crew, Usopp, Law.
Yeah. They're the ones that are currently they're at Wano right now, and they're probably the ones like starting conflict and everything, like preparing while this whole thing's going on. And we also had everyone going to Reverie. That whole like preparation and travel scene happened before Whole Cake.
Yeah, it happened before Whole Cake, so
by our timeline as an audience right now, chapter 885, Reverie might be finishing.
Maybe. I know they said it takes like a couple of days to get to Mary Joa.
No, true.
And it's been like Whole Cake has been like a pretty long arc.
But it's only been a few days.
Yeah, in real time in One Piece, it's only been like a couple of days. Because it's like they get there, so 11 hours, so half a day, he fought Cracker. And then they immediately went to find Sanji, and they fought Sanji. And then they met up with the Fire Tank Pirates, and they planned the coup. And that was basically that was the day before the Tea Party, and then the Tea Party happened. So that's a new day. So it's like...
It's been 3 days.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long of a timeline that it hasn't been that long of a time that we've been on Whole Cake Island.
True, yeah. Like 3-4 days at most, and then that's probably the time it'd take those people to like actually get to Mary Joa. So considering that they're starting Reverie, maybe?
Yeah, it's completely possible.
The Vinsmokes would be out of it, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. It makes sense that they're able to be at Reverie, but they're not there because because Big Mom's trying to fucking kill them. Yeah, like I said, this arc is gonna be, this upcoming Reverie arc is gonna be crazy. You know, I don't know. We're getting it before Wano, and I don't know when Whole Cake is gonna finish. I'm assuming Whole Cake is gonna finish pretty deep into 2018. I feel like by the summer of 2018 we might be starting Reverie, or maybe hopefully sooner, but because the way the arc's going right now, I don't see it ending immediately as we all thought.
No,
because the editors were saying like, oh, like by the end of this year we're gonna get into Wano, and it's like that's kind of
yeah,
that's kind of a ridiculous thought,
because we've got like 4 or 5 chapters till that happens. Like, no, we need a little bit more. I feel like end of spring seems pretty feasible.
Yeah, that seems the most likely to me that we'll start Reverie, and then we get to see all of these characters like interact. We get to see all these characters again, and then we get to see them interact with each other, which I think is like, honestly, that's the thing I'm most hyped for, seeing like the Dressrosa crew and like seeing Vivi interact with them, and then seeing all of them interact with Shirahoshi, and like seeing Shirahoshi again, like, oh man, seeing Kureha again. Like, there's a lot of characters that are returning that we haven't seen in a while, that I feel like that alone is gonna make Reverie like a super popular arc. But then just like we've talked about, the info dump and anything that could possibly happen, like seeing Green Bull, possibly seeing Dragon break in, Sabo and Stelly, like they're setting that up to where they have, like, I feel like the revolutionaries are going to be there at some capacity, because they wouldn't introduce Stelly without Sabo like being there.
You know, I'm a man of calls, some pretty deep calls.
You're calling it? You're calling it?
I'm calling that Sabo walks in.
All right. I'll go. It sounds the most plausible, so I'll go with it. I will call it as well. I'll piggyback off your call.
I'm not gonna say what happens or who deals with that. Sabo walks in.
Yeah,
that's it.
I'm about it.
Because it's fresh and technically ongoing. I saw Pudding. I called that.
Yeah, I saw Pudding. I called that.
And you brought up the whole Stelly thing. Didn't know this motherfucker just looking at his face, looking at his Wikipedia article. I call that.
All right. I can get behind that, because they wouldn't bring up Stelly and then not have him meet Sabo again after all that's happened.
Yeah, because
that's just kind of ridiculous to me. Like, if that, I mean, I know Oda wouldn't do that. Like, they're gonna get a meeting at some point, but I feel like now is the perfect time with the importance of the Reverie and just everything that's happening. Because, like, dude, if the revolutionaries, if there was no fight with the revolutionaries and Blackbeard got there, and all of the or there was a fight, but it wasn't with Dragon. Like, all the revolutionaries had already left the island to go towards Reverie. That would be crazy to me. And then on top of that, fucking possibility that we could see the Shogun there, and then like, God,
Yeah, that's another huge possibility.
yeah, the Shogun and freaking revolutionaries like fighting over Shirahoshi, like that would be ridiculous. Like,
How do you feel about Blackbeard showing up at Reverie?
it's a possibility. We don't know. Again, we don't know anything about what Blackbeard has been up to during the time skip, but I think it's safe to assume that it's safe to assume that he'll definitely be brought up at some point, because there's no way that someone, like the only person in the One Piece universe, like actually attains 2 devil fruits and the world government doesn't talk about him as a threat.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be brought up at some capacity with Luffy as well.
Especially with the whole like Shichibukai, the potential Shichibukai conversation.
Yeah. Yes, because he was allowed to do all of that because he was a Shichibukai.
With a fucking bounty of 0.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Blackbeard.
Jesus
As for all of the fuck Blackbeard. But like, I don't know. I don't know if Blackbeard will be there physically. I don't know what kind of ties he would have to be there physically, other than to maybe go after Shirahoshi. But I don't even think he know. Like, I don't think he knows about. I don't think he has in-depth knowledge of any of the like what's on the poneglyphs. Like, I don't think he knows about the, in terms of like information that we have. I think Blackbeard's behind. Like, he's a stronger force because he's a Yonko and he has like all these powerful people, but I don't think he knows what's on the poneglyphs.
It's a good point, because like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, because I mean the only way I see him appearing at Reverie is if he somehow found, like, the only way I see him appearing at Reverie is if when they fought on the Revolutionaries Island, Bautista. The only way I can see him being there is if he gets the Bautista, or Jesus Burgess gets the Bautista with some of the Blackbeard crew. They fight the revolutionaries that are there, and they realize that Dragon is not there. And then I could see maybe Blackbeard following Dragon, and if Dragon appears at Reverie, with Sabo, I can totally see Blackbeard also being there.
That's a pretty solid thought, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the only way I see Blackbeard being there. Like, I don't see him bringing up any new points in Reverie that the other characters wouldn't already have intimately more knowledge of. Like,
That, and like him showing up to Mary Joie is like fucking ballsy.
Yeah, because he's a D too, so it's like you like, what the fuck? Like, why would you show up there?
Man, that's another episode for another day.
Yeah, next break we should just talk about the Will of D and like everything that encompasses, because there's so much mystery to it, but there's so much that we already know, kind of, that we can like dive into.
Yeah, that's true. Cause Dick.
Monkey D Dick. That's gonna do it for us this week.
Monkey Dick Hockey.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I think that's our crack theory. Monkey Dick Hockey.
No. Our theory should have something to do with Reverie.
That's gonna wrap it up for us this week. Next week we're not gonna be on break, so we'll be back with chapter 886, I believe.
That's the number?
Yeah, I think that's the next one. Yeah, we'll be back next week talking about 886 and any other random discussion. And here's our One Piece crack theory for this lovely break week.
So, as the reverie is going on, King Riku looks upon the door, and who busts through the door but Lelouch v. Britannia, Geass activated in both eyes, getting ready to take over the world government.
I'm really proud of that one,
Yeah. I think that's the one out of all these episodes that I've been the most proud of. I'm like, all right, like I can get behind this one.
It's so out there. Masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
All right. Have a great week, y'all.